Good afternoon and welcome to NTV News Update at this hour. We are following up on a couple of stories and beginning with an developing one at this hour is Starehe Member of Parliament Charles Njagua has been arrested over remarks he made at the weekend to the extent that he would personally lead deportations of foreigners running businesses in his constituency. Njagua's remarks have attracted the attention of Tanzania's parliament, which called on the country's government to get clarification on the statements. Kenya's Foreign Affairs Ministry says the government regrets Njagua's remarks, saying the aggressive, ill-tempered language goes against the spirit and letter of Kenya's welcoming ethos and the Constitution. Let's take a look at the pictures.
That's why we just come. No, tuko na gari yetu mheshimiwa, wacha tuingie alafu mtufuate.
Hakuna haja ya pingu, ni sawa. Hakuna haja ya pingu, wataenda, ni mheshimiwa wataenda.
Sawa. Twende tu. Tusilete drama. Twende tu pole tu. Twende tu.
Hakuna haja ya pingu. Hakuna haja ya pingu.
Gari yetu iko wapi? DCI.
Quite dramatic scenes there, and our Zainab Ismail has been covering this for us this morning, and she's at Parliament buildings. Zainab, what more can you tell us about this arrest?
Well, Edmond, at this point, we are actually outside the Nairobi regional headquarters where the Starehe Member of Parliament, Charles Njagua, has been taken in after a very dramatic arrest outside the Parliament buildings about an hour ago. We understand that police had waited for him since the morning. He arrived at the Parliament buildings, of course, to perform his duty as a Member of Parliament. But the police officers attached to the Directorate of Criminal Investigations were awaiting him outside the Parliament buildings. They were not in official uniform. Now, this follows an alleged incitement remarks or insightful remarks that he made at the Kirinyaga Road a few days ago, and of course that caught the attention of even not the authorities as well as other countries, in which he mentioned what they say is alleged insightful remarks, and that's the statement that he's recording at this point. And this is something that has even attracted the attention of the government, where we had the government spokesman Sarah Saguna, who came out to denounce those remarks, saying it is not the official position of the government. And I'll just quote what the government spokesman said. And he said, "We wish to state that this is not the position of the government, and we denounce the comments carried in the video in the strongest terms possible. Such comments are unfortunate and have no place in today's global environment." At this point, what we can see is Jaguar's supporters streaming outside the headquarters, of course, coming in and saying they are in support of him, and they are not willing to stay up to late night just to see what will happen. Of course, he is inside at this point recording a statement over those allegations, and this is according to that video that we had seen that had since gone viral on social media. You know, Jaguar, the MP, is hard telling foreigners engaged in business in his constituency to shut down and vacate the country, failure to which he said they will be forcefully removed, and that is the essence of what is happening at this point. So we are waiting to see what will happen. Statements the statement that he's recording at this point is being taken in by the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, and of course we'll be waiting for what will happen any moment from now. Edmond.
Thank you so much, Zainab Ismail, for that update about the arrest of the Member of Parliament for Starehe, Charles Njagua. Now, moving on to something else, and the National Assembly Committee on Trade, Industry and Cooperatives has today pitched tent at the Inland Container Depot along Mombasa Road to probe the progress regarding the containers belonging to small and medium-sized enterprises. Traders have expressed that they are experiencing losses as some of the goods being held are going bad. Various agencies such as the Kenya Revenue Authority and the Kenya Bureau of Standards and officials from the ICD are responding to the questions. Let's listen in.
Na tutakuwa tunawaita ili watueleze ni njia gani ama ni binu gani wanatumia kujua hii bidhaa ni Gucci ama hii bidhaa si Gucci. Lakini pia niseme kama mwenyekiti kwamba hata sisi wenyewe hatutakubali kamwe bidhaa ambazo hazijafikisha kipimo kuingia katika taifa hili, hatutakubali. Na ndivyo tumesema kwa sababu bidhaa hizo hazitengenezwi hapa Kenya. Ni vizuri wao watu wa ACA wenyewe wasiwe wanahangaisha wafanya biashara wale wanafanya biashara kule ndani, wazuie bidhaa hizo kuingia katika taifa hili. Manake kujaribu kuzungusha mtu ati kwa sababu ako na simu na ili hali wewe wenyewe ndio mlikubali simu hiyo ingia hapa katika taifa hili, hiyo ni kasi ambayo sisi wenyewe kama wabunge hatutakubali. Kwa hivyo tutakuwa na kikao na wao ili watueleze ni binu gani na ni njia gani wanatumia kutofautisha hii ni bidhaa Gucci na hii si bidhaa Gucci. Lakini niseme kwamba hasa manake mimi mwenyewe nilikuwa katika hafla ya kuchoma na kuharibu bidhaa Gucci. Hasa niseme kwamba kuna moja ya cables. Unakuta kuna East African Cable wanatengeneza cable hapa. Hiyo ni kampuni ya hapa nchini. Alafu unaona wafanyabiashara wengine walagai anachukua bidhaa hiyo kapiska moja anaenda China kule, anaenda anatengeneza bidhaa hiyo na inaandikwa East African Cable na imetengenezewa kule China. Hayo hatutakubali. Hayo kamwe hatutakubali. Manake tukikubalia hayo basi tutakuwa tunaua zile viwanda vyetu. Na mumeona juzi kule Eldoret tumefungua kiwanda cha Livertex ambacho kilikuwa kimekufa. Tunataka kuona viwanda vingi. Na pia wafanyi biashara, hata mimi natawa changamoto kwa wao. Wakienda kule China, wasilete tu bidhaa tu za kutumia. Waende walete machine za kutengeneza hizo bidhaa hapa nchini.
Away from that, and the Special Crimes Unit detectives from the DCI have raided the home of Paul Kobia at Riverside Drive, Nairobi. This arising from complaints to the DCI by a foreigner claiming that he had been duped millions of shillings from the fake gold syndicate. Detectives have been at the scene from 10 a.m. this morning. Mel Miendo is at Riverside Drive. Mel, what's going on right now and what are the detectives looking for?
I'm really struggling to hear you, but let me just bring you up to date with what's happening just right now. There's been a few more cars from the DCI, so we've seen them coming in probably to get in evidence from this business premises that currently they have been there from about 10 a.m. I believe you mentioned that, from that time until now. So this is the business premises for the controversial businessman Paul Kobia. Now, earlier on, we weren't quite sure whether he was inside this place or not, but now we can confirm that he is actually inside this business premises here at Riverside Drive. And so the detectives from the Special Crimes Unit from the DCI, actually Serious Crimes Unit from the DCI have been here. And of course, we are waiting to see if they will address us and if we will get to see Paul Kobia coming out from this business premise. Now, one of the things I'd like to mention is that we have gathered information that some of the workers who were here have been told to step aside. Most of them were inside and outside, perhaps to be questioned by some of the detectives, but we know that the complaints were from a foreigner. We do not know exactly how much amount of money he was due with regards to the fake gold syndicate. And so this complaint was coming into the DCI offices, and so they did a recce here at the Riverside Drive yesterday night, and so coming in today morning for this raid. And so the complaint is not just from one foreigner, as we've gathered, but it's a few people who are saying they have been duped by Paul Kobia with regards to that fake gold syndicate. That fake gold is in a strong room. Now, what I've been to gather is that this strong room is used by Paul Kobia, and he is the only one who has access to that room, and so he's the only one who can actually enable detectives.
We do apologize for that loss of a picture, but we will get you the details in our subsequent bulletins with Mel Miendo. And Marsabit County Governor Mohamud Ali has accused the National Assembly of colluding with Treasury to deny county governments sufficient funds to spur economic growth. The governor, accompanied by other leaders from the region, say the current stalemate over the division of revenue bill between the Senate and the National Assembly is derailing operations in the counties. The leaders want the mandated arbitrators to urgently resolve the matter to save residents from the impending lack of services. National Assembly wants the counties to be allocated 316 billion shillings, while the Senate wants the counties to be given 327 billion shillings.
The Treasury is not playing its role. Treasury is curtailing counties, keeping resources at the national level, which otherwise would have been meant for the development of the counties in Kenya. It's a bit saddening, our national parliament, and they belong to various counties across the country. We expect them to support our Senate because they are on the right side of what is at stake at the moment.
Let's take you back to our top story because there is a development at the Nairobi area police station here in Nairobi where Starehe Member of Parliament Charles Njagua has been taken after being arrested earlier at Parliament buildings. We understand there are demonstrations going on there right now, and there are also members of Parliament who perhaps have showed up in solidarity with their colleague there. We understand that Moses Kuria is one of those members of Parliament, and as you can see there are just demonstrations by supporters of the Member of Parliament who want perhaps are asking for his release following his arrest earlier today, as regards this statements he made or remarks he made about foreigners, and especially those from Tanzania, not allowing them to do business in his constituency and such like things. The government of Kenya has actually refuted those remarks and claims and wants to further investigate this, and of course in collaboration with the government of Tanzania. So those are live pictures from Nairobi area police station in Nairobi. We'll get a bit more information later on with Zainab Ismail, who is there for us. Moving on, and the Cabinet Secretary for Petroleum and Mining, John Munyes, has called upon Turkana local administrators to support the government program to make the LAPSSET program a reality. Munyes has been spearheading the campaign for land acquisition along with the National Land Commission in Turkana in preparation for the full field development on oil exploration in Turkana beginning in 2021. There has been a resistance from some of the leaders saying the land belongs to the community and therefore the community must be engaged first before any land is released to the national government for use. The Ministry of Petroleum and Mining has for the last 2 months been engaging the Turkana community on public participation to make them understand the importance of oil exploration in Turkana and its benefits.
This project is about time. We have no time. We need to deliver the pipeline by 2021-22. It's our legacy as a country. Turkana wants to reap from the revenues of oil. I want to tell them this is a good project for this country.
Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha has reiterated the government's commitment to merge public universities, assuring that no staff will be victimized in the process. Speaking in Naivasha, Magoha stressed that the move would ensure quality education standards are maintained.
Everybody is teaching everything. And what is going to happen is that in about 10 or 20 years, degrees will be like toilet paper. They will not mean anything. A university, as I should not be here to tell you, means you teach, do research, create innovation. Research does not mean you go and publish in your own journals. If you produce 1,000 papers and none of them has been referred to by your peers all over the world, Are those papers or not? They are definitely not papers. So don't feel that government is fighting you. We want you to help us to get where we are going. And so get out of the box, destroy the box.
Coast Regional Commissioner John Elungata has ordered the immediate reopening of all schools in Boni area, assuring residents of improved security. 5 schools in the area remain closed due to the insecurity fears since 2014.
For 5 years, 5 schools in Boni area, Lamu County, have remained closed due to insecurity caused by Al-Shabaab militants. Learning was stopped at Basuba, Milimani, Mararani, Mangai and Kiangwe primary schools owing to a spate of terror attacks.
Hatuwezi kuwa na sehemu ya Lamu ambayo watoto hawasomi ama mambo ya kawaida haendelei. Tunataka ordinary life iweze kurudi katika hiyo sehemu, na serikali imejitolea kuona kwamba hayo yanafanyika.
Elungata says Lamu's security has greatly improved and now wants teachers deployed in the area. Teachers fled the area and have refused to return.
Polisi wako, kambi zipo, shule zipo, lakini walimu hawapo. So ningependa wizara yetu ya elimu ianze kupanga jinsi ya kutuma walimu huko waende wafundishe. Na mimi nitaenda huko na wao. Kwa sababu hao ma ACC, wako wapi hao ACCs? Hawa wanaishi huko na wananchi. Mbona walimu wasiende huko?
The regional commissioner was on a tour of Lamu's major projects in Mokowe.
Tangu zamani tumekuwa tukisema tumeachwa nyuma, maendeleo hayapo, lakini hii project ya LAPSSET, hii na zile zingine ambazo zinafuatia kama reli na viwanja vya ndege na vitu kama hivyo, vitawasaidia sana kuingia katika economy yetu ya Kenya, na kuwa pia wao wajisikie ni watu wa Kenya wanachangia maendeleo ya nchi.
Elungata noted that the LAPSSET project was 65% complete. He also assured residents that funds for the Lamu-Witu Garsen highway have been released and will soon be completed. Sharon Baranga, NTV.
The Kenya Police Service, in conjunction with a US-based security firm, have launched a monitoring app known as MyGuard 911 that allows anyone with a smartphone to digitally report a crime. Deputy Inspector General Edward says the app will help reduce the response time within the city. MyGuard 911 app will collate, report and use the data to make policing easier by giving a real-time approach to security in the city. The app also gives the location of where the crime has been committed in order for the police to easily respond.
And most of the crimes, sometimes they are not reported in time. They are delays in reporting crime, and when we try to attend to these crimes, sometimes the suspects have already disappeared from the scene of crime, and sometimes we don't get people to tell us exactly what happened. So we depend on the investigation by police officers only, and we don't get help from the members of the public.
Residents of Moi Farm in Namanjala in Trans Nzoia County are concerned about their safety when crossing the river. They say the village does not have bridges and are forced to use unconventional ways to get across the water bodies. They say it gets worse when it rains.
Heavy flash floods have brought despair to Namanjala village. The streams and river have swelled, which has made the movement of people and goods difficult.
Na watoto wetu wanasoma ngambo hii. Kusema ukweli wanateseka sana. Maana saa masaa za asubuhi watu wanakuwa wengi hapa, jamu inakuwa nyingi. Mpaka hata sasa watoto wanachelewa shule.
The residents claim that several people have met their death while attempting to cross the river.
Tunateseka sana. Maana tunafanya kazi ngambo hiyo, tunapata shilingi 100, na kusema ukweli nauli tunalipishwa shilingi 50.
Fukisa kama watu wawili. Sasa asipo kujibalance mzuri, unaweza pata umemwambia kaa hapa na kae kando kidogo, hiyo tube ina roar, inapinduka. Kama vile unajua hiyo tube nimeweka hewa, inapinduka na huyo mtu anasama kwa maji. Na akisama kwa maji unajua sasa mimi ni kuokelea nitoke na pengine nitashindwa vile na muokoa.
They are now forced to pay to use wheel tubes to cross the river.
Na pia katika hali ya kupita imetuletea shida watu wetu kuanguka ndani ya mto, wanakufa Watu wameenda zaidi ya 30 ndani ya huu mto.
They are now calling on the government to intervene and build a bridge to ease movement. Fatma Bugu, NTV.
One of the largest flower farms in Naivasha faces closure after it emerged that it was releasing toxic waste into the nearby Lake Naivasha. Following an impromptu visit to the Kentalia farm located along the Moi South Lake Road, the National Environment Management Authority issued it with a 7-day closure notice over massive pollution. 20 people, including a manager at the farm, were arrested for offences such as selling banned polythene bags and poor waste management. Saisi Aura, the senior enforcement and compliance officer at NEMA, condemned farmers in the area for flouting the law. He also pointed an accusing finger at the Naivasha sewerage plant as another facility that was releasing untreated sewerage into the water body.
Actually discharge the environment, whether they are licensed, and if they are licensed, are they adhering to the conditions or not. And those that are not licensed, then they need to be closed down till they get the license.
The county government of Turkana, in collaboration with the Ministry of Health and the World Health Organization, have launched the Meningitis A vaccination. The launch comes as part of a routine immunization schedule.
Turkana residents lined up patiently to be vaccinated with the newly launched meningitis vaccine. The vaccination exercise targets children and adults aged between 1 to 29 years in West Pokot, Wajir, Marsabit, Mandera and Turkana counties. The Ministry of Health assured residents that the vaccine was safe and could be administered to pregnant mothers.
It has previously been used world over and in neighboring countries of Ethiopia, Gambia, South Sudan and other countries that are outbreak prone.
Kusema tunaweka shule peke yake tutaanguka, sababu unajua kuna wengi ambao pia waendi shule. Kwa hivyo to focus both schools, we should focus both schools and also outside.
Turkana alone aims to vaccinate 1 million people during the exercise that began last Saturday and will run to the 1st of July. The national government also donated various vehicles and solar-powered fridges, which will be used in the rural areas for storage of drugs during the vaccination exercise. Anita Nkonge, NTV.
Kenyatta University has launched a campaign to raise funds to support a major research and innovation conference to be held in October. This week, the Kenya Electricity Transmission Company made the first contribution of 1 million shillings towards the conference, dubbed Biennial Research and Innovation. KU also entered a deal with the Nation Media Group, who are the official media partners for the event. Speaking during the signing ceremony at the university, Vice Chancellor Paul Wainaina called on firms to support research in higher education. The Chief Executive of KETRACO, Fernandez Baraza, added, that his organization was keen on promoting research on engineering and especially electricity transmission.
Research and support the community. Nation will be providing the gap, providing that linkage between research institutions and the audiences, the consumers who need to benefit from research outputs.
A primary school teacher in Mombasa has been charged with sodomizing 2 of his pupils. The teacher, who had been giving private tuition lessons to the 2 students, is said to have committed the act on the 26th of April. The accused is an employee of the Royal Junior Academy in Mombasa and defended himself, stating that he was caning one of the boys for not completing his homework and that he rubbed him the wrong way. He, however, pleaded guilty to sexually assaulting the second boy. The police are since opposed to his release on bond until the case is heard and determined, saying the suspect might interfere with the minors with the goal of preventing them from testifying against him. The hearing date has been set for July the 23rd. And a family in Nairobi's Mbotela estate is looking for their 4.5-year-old son who disappeared from home in May. In Mombasa, another family is desperately searching for their kin who went missing in Kiembeni in April. Kevin Mutai has those details.
Richard Masinde was last seen along Jogoo Road. He was wearing a pair of white shorts and a striped blue t-shirt. The 4.5-year-old boy can only communicate in Swahili. The matter was reported to Makongeni and Makadara police stations on 13th May 2019. His parents are appealing to Kenyans of goodwill to help in tracing their son. Anyone with information can reach the family on 0724 726 726. Elsewhere, it has been 2 months since Nicole Faril Muna, a 14-year-old girl, went missing in Mombasa. Her parents say she left the house at about 7 p.m. on 19th April 2019 to buy medicine at a nearby shop, never to return. She kept her hair short and was dressed in a black chiffon dress. Nicole was a pupil at Kimbeni Estate Primary School. The family reported her case to Nyali Police Station. The family can be reached on 0717 550 001 or 0739 924 113. Anyone with information on their whereabouts is requested to contact their nearest police stations. Kevin Mutai, NTV, Mombasa.
Let's now have a look at a bit of business, and Huawei has reassured its Kenyan customers that their phones will continue to receive Google and Facebook services despite the ban imposed by the United States government. Speaking to the press during the launch of Huawei Y9 Prime 2019, the country president, Steve Lee, said the phones currently in the Kenyan market, as well as those that will be coming into the market, will not be affected by the US ban in any way, and that there is therefore no need for concern. The new phone targets the Kenyans smartphone users who want higher storage capacity phones as well as a larger screen size.
I think this phone we can suitable for, even though if we have unique color for if women like green, they can select. If man they like the black and blue, they can select. So I think a different type of persons, they have different favorite. So I think this is why we should select 3 colors in this market.
Beyond the borders now, and Ethiopian General Siare Mekonnen and General Gezai Abera were killed in an attempted northern Amhara region coup.